You're listening to the Unbelievers podcast.
There were several groups. One of the principal ones was the reptilians from the Orion complex.
Without any exaggeration, it was like being on fire inside.
Rats were in the inside.
This stuff was in my mouth. It felt like it was 500 pounds. It was unbelievably hot.
My first question would be, were you a member of the Church of Satan, a card-carrying member of the Church of Satan?
I don't understand.
There's always an argument for everything. You know, just because somebody can fake something doesn't necessarily mean it's full war, and we found a life form. And that's when I started shitting my pants.
So for the person who called, I am carrying an alien.
An alien baby, and we cover it right here, okay?
Okay.
Something is happening. What is it? That's the question. So do UFOs exist? It depends on what you mean exist.
Since as early as 300 BC in ancient Rome, children have found comfort and companionship in one of the most simple of all toys, dolls. While dolls, at first glance, may seem to be the most innocent and harmless possessions for a child, there is also a dark side. Tonight, we tell the tale of one particular doll in Key West, Florida that not only looks creepy as hell, but may possibly be the most haunted doll ever discovered. So, join us now and make sure you ask permission as we attempt to break the curse while staying respectful, as we talk about the world's spookiest doll, Robert the Haunted Doll, right here on the program, where you continue to learn to unlearn everything you know! Hello and welcome to the Unbelievers podcast. I'm your host, Russ Ryan, and tonight I am joined by my co-host in California, Drea Mora. Hello, Drea.
Hello, Russ. How's it going?
It's going well. And on Long Island, our producer and soundboard engineer, Rob Loki Oki.
Oh, this is nuts! Oh my gosh, this is so crazy!
What's
up, guys? This is crazy.
Rob.
Hello, Rob.
This is so
How you guys
crazy.
This is
Good.
crazy.
Better
'cause
now.
We get to talk about a haunted dolly tonight. That's exciting to me.
Dolly.
Oh man.
Yes, a doll. We're talking about a haunted doll, but I want to know. I'll start with you, Drea Moore. Did you ever have a doll or any kind of toy that you were close to like that when you were a little kiddie?
Yeah, I had a couple of like stuffed animals. I didn't really care as much for the dolls. I never understood the baby doll thing. I'm like, I'm too young to have this kind of responsibility to feed and clothe this baby. So I liked this one rabbit that I had that was long and like had long ears, really soft. And then I had this dog, this big, like this white dog with a little snooze, like what is it, like a sleeping cap. And then when my sister was born, she freaking took it over and I was livid.
Oh,
but
man.
I let her have it.
That happens to a lot of good stuff. I lost my Michael Jackson jacket to my younger cousin. What about you, Rob? Did you ever have like a doll you were close with? I'm sure you had a few.
A doll I was close with. I was like prime time Teddy Ruxpin era.
Oh,
so I had one of
one.
those creepy talking bear dolls that you could put a cassette tape in its chest and then it would just mouth the lyrics to whatever you put in it. And I just remember putting random tapes in it and watching it perform weird songs.
Oh yeah, I knew my younger cousins had them. Yeah, we would put like Guns N' Roses or like metal tapes in it and stuff, and that thing would go off. It was fun.
Yeah, those things, they were pretty creepy. Their eyes would open and close, and
at weird times, like it just kind of winks at you.
Yeah, and over time, as they got like shittier, as they got older, they didn't work as good, and they got creepier and creepier because the robotics didn't work.
Yeah,
because
he would slow down. You wouldn't change the batteries till he was like completely dead. Sure.
But yeah. Also, there was I hate to bring up E.T. again, and how
I was going to bring it up for you. I'm like, why do you have this creepy?
E.T.
Yeah,
there was a doll.
Life.
There was an E.T. doll that I was at my grandmother's house, and every time I would sleep at my grandmother's house, I would see this thing at nighttime, and it would just I would get freaked out, man. I thought E.T. was going to come fuck with me all the time.
I thought you were going to say something else there.
There's layers to it.
Yeah,
you just love having creepy stuff as a kid, didn't you?
Yeah. I liked creepy shit.
Teddy Ruxpin is creepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, mine is definitely not creepy, and I'm going to say no that I never really had a doll. But I will say that for some reason, people in my life as a child thought I did want a doll. And during the Cabbage Patch Kid craze, I was given a Cabbage Patch Kid by my aunt or somebody, and I do not know why. I did not ask for it, but I remember his name was Carl Joseph, and that was it. So technically I owned a doll. I wouldn't say he was like my best friend. I didn't talk to him, but I remember his name was Carl Joseph, and I only remember that.
Carl Joseph. He's got a grown ass man's name.
That's
for
what I was thinking.
A
Who
Cabbage
names
Patch doll.
a kid Carl?
Yeah.
Oh, here comes baby Carl.
Little Carl.
With a receding hairline. Yeah.
I remember because there's an NFL player now. There's an NFL player, a strong safety for the Raiders, named Carl Joseph. So pull for him this year.
No way.
He's my grown-up Cabbage Patch Kid, and
well,
good
you
luck to
raised
them
that
this
kid
season.
so successfully.
But let's talk about a different doll. Let's talk about it tonight. Here we go. Robert the Haunted Doll. Whoa. Now, Robert the Haunted Doll. All right. Yeah, not a lot of things we talk about have their own theme song. This is actually called Robert's theme song. Robert the Doll theme song.
I think he deserves one. This doll is creepy as fuck. I remember hearing about it before. Like, no, thank you.
That was terrifying.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of kids singing in general. I think everybody knows that. But
always a terrifying choice, definitely. Especially when we're talking about a doll. That's what we're doing tonight. We're talking about a doll. Yes, a dolly. And not just any dolly, though. We are talking about a haunted doll. Possibly the most haunted doll. Robert the Haunted Doll. Are you guys ready for this? Are you guys really ready? Are you guys scared at all to do this?
I would be
I'm pretty scared.
I would be scared if it was near us. If I had to go see it in person. But talking about it, no, I'm okay. I think I'm okay.
So
if I remember correctly, he doesn't even like to be talked about and stuff. Right? Like,
shit. Okay, now I'm scared.
I think this doll is like a whole different, on another level from what I remember.
Roberts are not to be trifled with, man.
You're not gonna go wuss out like Nori, are we? Come on, we can go through with this, right?
Oh, fuck no.
So something I do know about Robert that I want to ask you: should we ask Robert's permission before we start this? And if we do, since you share a name with him, Rob, will you ask Robert, your friend and name, for permission?
Yeah, I'll ask him right now for sure.
All right, let's hear.
Robert, is it okay if we do this?
Okay.
Is he going to answer? Is he going to answer back to me?
Oh, thanks. Either him or Jeff just answered. Good.
I heard him.
Great.
Yeah. Jesus.
Great. Well, let's get into the backstory of Robert the Doll, and we will do that through the great telling of the story that I found on the Travel Channel. It's just a well-done telling. It's just top-notch stuff, guys. And here's the origin of Robert the Haunted Doll.
As a child, who hasn't dreamed of a favorite doll or a teddy bear coming to life and being a very best friend forever and ever?
Wait, what?
Robert Eugene Otto had a doll who stayed with him his whole life. An artist and his muse in eccentric Key West, Florida. This doll was given to the 6-year-old Robert Eugene by the family's Bahamian maid, who was said to practice voodoo. It was the perfect likeness of the young boy and was even named Robert after him.
Like you, Rob.
As a young boy, Eugene developed a strange fascination with Robert. He spent long hours alone with his doll, talking to it. And when anything went wrong at home, Eugene always knew who to blame. It was Robert, he would tell his parents. Robert did it. Robert did it.
Robert did it.
Eugene Otto became one of the most celebrated artists in this famous artists' colony. His fame grew beyond the southerly Keys, as did his wealth. He preferred to paint in seclusion, alone, indoors, and with Robert always by his side.
So he's got this guy's Robert while he's an adult still. This guy's grown up with his doll his entire life. There's a lot of backstory packed into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't sound right. Something about it doesn't sound right.
Yeah, the whole spending hours and hours on end just with like the doll only, that's like, oh, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, I didn't dream my doll into life ever as a kid. He just said Carl Joseph was not. I did not. He was not my tulpa or anything.
Carl Joseph wasn't your tulpa? Yeah, exactly.
No, not at all. He grew up fine, as you can see already. I mean, I was a lonely kid, but not like that. Not like him. I don't know. It's a voodoo doll
I've yet seen.
Bigfoot might be a kind of tulpa.
That's right. But voodoo, maybe Witch was the Bohemian lady who gave the doll, made the doll for him, so it's already got voodoo origins. The guy already seems kind of creepy. He's got it as an adult. Yeah.
Every time he does something bad, he's just like, Robert did it. I didn't do that. Robert did it.
Which, I mean,
but kids do
probably...
doll, dude.
Yeah, he's really into his toy. Look, there wasn't a lot. There was no Netflix or anything back then. It was different. You had your doll. But let's get back to the story. Let's get back to the story of Robert.
Eugene settled down with his wife Anne here at the artist's house close to Duval Street in Key West. Robert, of course, went with them. Anne disliked the doll from the moment she first saw it. It gave her chills just to look at it, and she didn't like her husband's obsession with it. Still, she humored him, and Robert was given a room of his very own, away in the attic. There he stayed until Eugene told his wife that Robert was angry and demanding a room with a view. Despite Anne's objections, he moved Robert out of the attic and down to the turret room. Robert was seated at the window looking out over the street. Children on their way to school said they saw Robert through the windows moving about the turret room, glowering at them.
No.
I saw Robert peeking out the turret. Yeah, there's a lot of go away in that. And his poor wife, why did she marry him anyway? He obviously always had the doll obsession. You think it would go away?
That's sexy as hell.
She wants to put it in the attic.
It shows passion and commitment.
And if you knew what Robert looked like if you go online right now and you Google Robert the doll, imagine that thing running around an attic.
No.
And how terrifying that would be.
I'm trying not to imagine that. That is,
I don't
want to imagine any doll running around, no matter what it looks like. Christ.
Now, this doll was made in the likeness of this boy, Robert Eugene, who went by Gene because the doll was named Robert and he didn't want there to be any confusion. But this doll is dressed in a little sailor's outfit with a little sailor cap, and he's holding a lion because he loved to go to the zoo and see the lions. So the lady who made it included the lion, and he loved the boats, so he's a little sailor. And it makes it very creepy. He's got black buttony eyes, right?
Yeah, very much soulless.
Black button eyes.
He's just very disturbing to begin with. But there's more to the story of Gene, as he's known now, and Robert.
Inside the house, Eugene became increasingly irrational and violent, smashing things and lashing out at his wife and screaming like a madman. And then all of a sudden, he would be himself again, and he would always say exactly the same thing. It was Robert. Robert did it. Robert's influence seemed to grow stronger and stronger. A plumber working alone in the turret room with Robert fled the house in terror. He later said he'd heard Robert giggling.
That's not a giggle.
Other visitors swore that Robert's expression changed when they looked at him. Sometimes they said that he looked like pure evil. Eugene became sicker and sicker, becoming so despondent he locked himself away in the turret room until he finally died with Robert the doll by his side. Free at last, Anne fled the house, leaving Robert behind in the attic.
Boy, what a nightmare. It's like a Twilight Zone episode, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 3 Twilight Zone episodes.
It's creepy.
No, yes.
His expression, though, he's barely got a mouth. How does his expression
I don't know.
change?
He looks like an unfinished Muppet. He's
maybe he had more of a face before. It's pretty weathered now. The photos.
It's over 100 years old. Yeah, this is very old at this point.
He looks like a tortured, Curious George. He's
tortured George.
Tortured George. His poor little eyes, his little button eyes. He's just like, help me.
Yeah.
You know,
But
I'm
that's
thinking
not
the
over.
lady who made it for him didn't like him very much. She probably wanted
But he
this
loved
to
it,
happen.
though. She did a great job if he loved it that much, unless that was just the devil or something. But the story isn't over just because Gene died next to his beloved doll and the wife split as soon as she could. The spookiness continues.
The new owners discovered him soon after moving in. They took one look at